This is the QTV Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM, and I am Loliam Kamara. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Following President Barrow's announcement to build 700 kilometers of roads nationwide during his Meet the People tour, we spoke with the Roads Minister and NRA Managing Director to assess their readiness ahead of the commencement of these projects. The Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security has launched the Africa Integrated Climate Risk Management Program at the national level, a major step toward bolstering the country's resilience to climate change. On Tuesday, the Gambia Food and Nutrition Association, GAFNA, and partners held a high-level roundtable to assess the livelihoods of refugees in the Gambia. In international news, today, 25th November, is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, observed annually to raise awareness about the preservation issue of violence against women and girls. In sports news, during the recent Islamic Solidarity Games in Saudi Arabia, the Gambia and Saudi Arabia signed a sports cooperation agreement to strengthen ties between their Olympic committees. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Thank you for joining us. President Adama Barrow's recent announcement to construct an additional 700 kilometers of roads nationwide is a reflection of an increased demand for improved infrastructure during his ongoing Meet the People tour. And Sumana Esonyasi spoke with the Minister for Roads and the Managing Director of the National Roads Authority to assess their readiness ahead of the commencement of these projects.
As President Adama Barrow continues his nationwide Meet the People tour, road infrastructure has emerged as the most urgent and persistent demand from communities across the country. At nearly every stop, residents have appealed for better roads to improve access to markets, health facilities, schools, and regional centers. In response, President Barrow has announced plans for the construction of an additional 700 kilometers of roads across the country, one of the most ambitious infrastructure commitments of his administration to date. We engaged the Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Silla, and the Managing Director of the National Roads Authority, Suleiman Suare Jane, to understand the scale of the works ahead of the government's readiness to deliver on these expectations.
In the upper part of the North Bank region, which is the Badibus, we are doing 16 kilometers of roads from Bani going through Salekenye to Njabakunda, which is almost near completion. We can say 70% of the job has been done. The double surface dressing, which is sealing with tarmac, has already started, and we are just left with only 4 kilometers for that road to be completed fully.
We virtually encourage and welcome the requests and requisitions that are being made by the communities. Now, it is not going to be an easy task, but with the determination of this government, we know we'll get it done. I cannot guarantee that we'll get everything done within the stipulated time or maybe the time that they are requesting it to be in, but it will get done.
Furthermore, Roads Minister Ibrahim Silla notes that the recurring calls for improved roads at every meeting reflect the public's growing awareness of the transformative impact of quality infrastructure. He adds that these demands highlight both the progress achieved so far and the growing aspirations of communities, particularly in remote areas.
This is highly significant in that wherever we are doing these roads, they have opened up these communities to great potentials in terms of trade, in terms of connectivity, in terms of access to hospitals and health centers, in terms of access to educational facilities, in terms of access to economic opportunities.
NRA Managing Director Suleiman Suare Jane revealed that several road projects are already underway across the country, ranging from feeder roads to new highways designed to enhance trade and mobility. He emphasized that these ongoing projects not only expand access, but also improve the durability and safety of the national road network. As the tour advances, the demand for roads remains a recurring theme reflecting citizens' recognition of infrastructure as a gateway to economic opportunity and improved livelihoods. With a nationwide plan to construct 700 kilometers of new roads now on the horizon, expectations are high as President Barrow promises to deliver enhanced connectivity across all regions. For now, the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure and the National Roads Authority appear poised to embark on what could become one of the largest road expansion efforts in the country's history. Antoine Sonyasi for KTV News.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security has launched the Africa Integrated Climate Risk Management Program at the national level, a major step toward bolstering the country's resilience to climate change under the wider Great Green Wall Initiative on Tuesday. Jacqueline Colley reports.
Launched regionally in March 2024, the Africa Integrated Climate Risk Management Program supports 7 Sahelian countries: Burkina Faso, Chad, the Gambia, Mali, Mauritania, Niger and Senegal in restoring degraded lands, revitalizing agriculture and enhancing access to markets and nutrition. In the Gambia, implementation will be led by the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security in partnership with the Roots Project and the International Fund for Agricultural Development. To launch the implementation phase, an inception workshop was held alongside the program's launch, bringing together government officials, development partners, and technical stakeholders. The workshop served as a platform to establish a shared understanding of roles, responsibilities, and priorities to guide the national rollout of the program. Bakshina Chiliseto, Regional Technical Lead for Climate and Environment at IFAD, stressed that integrated climate risk management is essential for revising land degradation and protecting agricultural productivity.
Locally, droughts, floods, incidents of pests and diseases adversely impact the Gambian farmers and the productivity of the agricultural sector. So AICRM will address some of the vulnerabilities as an integrated program with an innovative approach. This approach brings together strategic partners such as the African Development Bank, the World Food Programme, the African Risk Capacity, and national governments to address climate change-related agricultural risks with an intent of doing this before they actually occur.
Here is Dr. Demba Sabali, the Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security.
The AICRM program will target 40,000 beneficiaries directly drawn from across 39 districts within the 6 rural agricultural zones of the country. The total budget for the AICRM program in the Gambia is $20.3 million US, with the GCF providing grant funding of $11.7 million US, and IFAD, AFDB, ARC, the Gambia government and beneficiaries contributing the balance of $8.6 million US.
Dr. Sabali emphasized that upon successful completion, the project will support planning and decision-making in agriculture and natural resources, while also enhancing local farmers' capacity, boosting investment in climate resilience, and improving access to agricultural insurance. And Sumana Sane, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, also highlighted his ministry's contribution to climate-related initiatives.
As of last year, the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs has made significant strides in advancing climate-responsive public finance management, strengthening disaster risk financing strategies, and expanding adaptive social protection system through our collaborations with the World Bank under the Global Seal financing facilities.
With the national launch of the Africa ICRM program, the Gambia takes a major step towards empowering farmers, strengthening rural livelihoods, and building resilience against climate risks for a sustainable future. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jacqueline Colley.
On Tuesday, the Gambia Food and Nutrition Association, GAFNA, in collaboration with the Gambia Commission for Refugees and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, held a high-level roundtable to assess the livelihoods of refugees in the Gambia. Mam Nabuka attended and filed this report.
As of mid-2025, the Gambia hosts over 20,000 forcibly displaced people, with a significant portion of these being refugees from countries like Senegal, Togo, Cameroon, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, among others. Most of these refugees reside in rural areas of the Gambia and experience severe financial hardships and difficulties in finding employment. This meeting seeks to provide a platform to present and discuss key findings of a recently concluded socio-economic and livelihood assessment of refugees residing in the Gambia, the challenges and opportunities faced by them and their host communities. The objective is to foster dialogue, share evidence-based insights, and mobilize joint commitments from relevant stakeholders to improve refugees' livelihoods and inclusion in national development processes. Yusufa J. Gomez, Executive Director of GAFNA, highlighted some of the ways the association has been supporting refugees to date.
Include provision of water supply for both domestic and vegetable gardening in host communities and schools where you have a high refugee student enrollment. Agricultural and horticultural input support with skills. We also support in the education of qualified and needy refugee students to pursue TVET and university education. Vulnerability support to needy elderly, disabled, and health-challenged refugees and asylum seekers.
Amarty Kamara, Deputy Commissioner of the Gambia Commission for Refugees, and Martin Kaberuka, Multi-Country Officer for UNHCR in Senegal, stressed the urgent need to turn calls to action into tangible results and reaffirm their commitment to helping refugees build dignified lives.
As a Commission, we are committed to working with partners to enhance livelihood programs, promote labor mobility, support inclusive market-based intervention that benefit both refugees and host communities.
By investing in livelihood, let's say education and inclusion, we empower refugees to contribute meaningfully to their host communities and prepare for durable solutions.
Abdoulaye Sanyang, the Gambia's Minister of Interior, stated that empowering refugees to support themselves poses no risk and will greatly enhance the prosperity and stability of the country.
Together, let us build a Gambia and an Africa where no one is left behind and where every person, regardless of status, has the opportunity to live, work, and strive in peace.
The roundtable's outcomes are expected to play a key role in shaping policies and programs that prioritize the well-being and integration of refugees in the Gambia. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
We'll now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have national, international, and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
Browse Bitus. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25 Cs. Yes! Recharge $25 Cs and enjoy the convenience of free internet from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day with our Browse with Us promo. With this amazing offer, you can browse, stream, and download all your favorite movies for free. So why wait? Recharge $25 Cs today and enjoy free internet only with QCell between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. The National Hepatitis Control Program under the Ministry of Health, with support from Africa CDC, on Monday commenced a 5-day national forum on integrating hepatitis indicators into the National Health Management System information system. More in this report.
The forum brings together health experts, data managers, regional health officers, and monitoring and evaluation officers from across the country. The first 2 days focused on identifying and redefining hepatitis indicators for the monitoring and evaluation booklet, which will later be integrated into the national HMIS through the DHIS2 platform. This will be followed by a 3-day intensive end-user training designed to ensure the smooth and effective use of the system. Global health estimates show that hepatitis B and C caused more than 1.1 million deaths each year, while prevalence in the Gambia stands at around 8 to 10%, highlighting the urgent need for stronger national surveillance. Program Officer Sirif Baji described the workshop as a major milestone in the effort to fully integrate hepatitis indicators into the HMIS DHIS2 platform.
Enable us to generate accurate, timely, and standardized data on hepatitis, strengthen our surveillance and monitoring systems, improve programmatic planning and resource allocation, and ultimately enhance our ability to meet national, regional, and global elimination targets.
The Regional Director of the West Africa Coordinating Center at Africa CDC, Dr. Kokodu Alinon, told participants that integrating hepatitis indicators into the National Monitoring and Evaluation Framework and the DHIS2 system lays the groundwork for better data, better decisions, and ultimately better health outcomes.
Your presence reflects a shared understanding that data is not just number. It is the story of life saved, outbreak prevented, and system strengthened.
Officials say hepatitis remains a major public health concern in the Gambia. A 2016 study revealed that 1 in 10 people is infected with the hepatitis B virus, while less than 2% have hepatitis C. The Director of Health Services, Momodu Tinyasi, commended the National Hepatitis Control Program for its effort, but stressed that more work is needed to meet both national and global hepatitis elimination targets.
One of the key strategies for improving our response to hepatitis is data. That is accurate, timely, and actionable data. Without it, we are flying behind. The integration of hepatitis indicators into our health management information system, and specifically our DHIS2 platform, will enable us to monitor trends, evaluate intervention, allocate resources more effectively, and ultimately save lives.
This workshop is part of the Ministry of Health's broader commitment to strengthening surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation systems in line with global hepatitis elimination goals. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Now to international news. The International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women is observed annually on November 25th to raise awareness about the pervasive issue of violence against women and girls and to push for its prevention and elimination. Aissatou Bari has the details.
The day is meant to raise global awareness that women continue to face rape, domestic abuse, and other forms of violence. It also aims to reveal the often hidden scale and true nature of these injustices. The day also marks the start of the Unite campaign's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which runs until December 10th, Human Rights Day, underscoring that such violence is a fundamental violation of human rights. Globally, nearly 1 in 3 women has experienced physical or sexual violence from an intimate partner, non-partner, or both at least once in her life. Even more alarming, every 10 minutes, a woman or girl is killed by an intimate partner or family member. Violence against women has intensified across many settings. But this year's campaign for the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women shines a spotlight on one in particular, the digital realm. Online violence is now a serious and rapidly growing threat that aims to silence women's voices, especially those with strong public or digital roles in politics, activism, and journalism. This rise is driven by weak technological regulation, limited legal recognition in some countries, impunity on digital platforms, fast-evolving forms of abuse enabled by AI, growing anti-gender equality movements, anonymity of perpetrators, and inadequate support systems for victims of digital violence. In the Gambia, from January to July 2023 alone, 310 gender-based violence cases were documented by Gender Management Information System, with 98% of survivors being female and 35% involving children aged 0 to 14 years. Rape was the most prevalent form of violence, followed by sexual assault and physical abuse. The majority of perpetrators were current partners, followed by unknown individuals and family friends or neighbors. Alarmingly, only 32.7% of these cases were reported to the police, while the remaining 67.3% went unreported. International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women reminds us of the need to increase awareness, promote advocacy, and create opportunities for discussions on challenges and solutions to GBV. Aissatou Bari, QTV News.
Also in international news, incumbent President Umaru Sissoco Embalo and the man seen as his main opponent, Fernando Diaz, an independent candidate, have both claimed victory following Guinea-Bissau's presidential elections held over the weekend, as the country awaits the official results. Mam Nabuka tells us more.
According to the independent online newspaper O Democrata GB, Diaz congratulated voters for participating in the polls, saying it was a demonstration of the will for change. He is quoted as saying, "We already have our data, and we know what the result is. This election was won in the first round. We are just waiting for the competent entity, referring to the electoral body, to confirm," the report said. Diaz claimed his candidacy obtained an advantage in almost all regions. The only results seen so far are unofficial and issued by independent website electiongb.org. They show Diaz leading with 58.8% of the vote, with Embalo second on 41.1%. Earlier, Diaz denounced alleged attempts to interfere in the electoral tallying process. Embalo, meanwhile, has claimed that he has won with no need for a runoff. The official electoral body has not issued a statement. We hope to bring the verified result as soon as we can. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
In sports news, during the recently concluded Islamic Solidarity Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the Gambia and Saudi Arabia formalized the Sports Cooperation Agreement aimed at enhancing collaboration between the Saudi Olympic and Paralympic Committee and the Gambia National Olympic Committee. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga was there and he now reports.
A press release shared by both parties with the media states that the agreement, signed by His Highness Prince Fahad bin Jawali Al Saud on behalf of His Royal Highness Prince Abdul Aziz bin Turki Al Faisal Al Saud, President of the Saudi Olympic Committee and Paralympics Committee, and Mr. Baidudu Jallo, President of the Gambian National Olympic Committee, sets out a comprehensive framework to strengthen bilateral cooperation across the Olympic movement and sports development. The MOU reflects the shared ambition of both nations to expand technical, educational, and administrative cooperation and to foster stronger people-to-people ties through sports. Under the terms of agreement, the two committees will coordinate closely at continental and international sports forums, exchange sports programs between federations, and collaborate in training sports personnel through technical exchanges, conferences, and knowledge-sharing initiatives. The partnership also promotes cooperation in sports medicine, anti-doping efforts, gender equity, Olympic education and sustainability. Both sides will encourage exchanges among coaches, sports officials, athletes, committees, and national teams, while facilitating direct contact between sports clubs in both countries. The agreement emphasizes the confidentiality of shared information and clarifies that the MOU serves as a non-binding framework with no immediate financial obligations. Financial arrangements for specific exchange programs will be mutually agreed upon a case-by-case basis. To ensure effective implementation, representatives of the Saudi Olympic Committee and Paralympics Committee and the Gambia National Olympic Committee will hold periodic meetings to evaluate and advance joint programs. The MOU will remain in force for 4 years and will automatically renew for additional 4-year terms unless terminated within 6 months written notice. Both parties highlighted the importance of coordinated public communication with a requirement for prior written approval before publishing any information relating to the MOU or related activities. The signing marks a new chapter in Saudi-Gambia sports relations, positioning both countries to benefit from shared expertise, enhanced athletics development, and strengthened international cooperation within the global Olympic movement. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
That's all we have for you in this bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.